Ladies and germs, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on what time of the day you're watching this, guys. And welcome to another episode of the Tech 4 podcast. And today we've got a short little, what I'd like to call hodgepodge of an episode for you, showing you some very interesting and very oddly specific toys in this episode.
But they're fun.
Yes, I don't know how well you guys can see these toys that are sitting down here on the counter, but we will make sure to pick them up and show them to you as we're going along. So we're going to kind of pick up where we left off with the last episode and show you some technology for your cell phones and show you some stuff about drones for your real estate videos and virtual tours. So I guess the first thing that I would like to kick this off with is talking about accessories for your cell phone. You know, we literally have the collection of earbuds sitting here on the table. These are Jeff's personal favorite, the bone conduction earbuds, and I've got the Apple AirPod Pros. Jeff, if you'd like to tell people what in the world these weird-looking contraptions are.
Yeah, it is a weird-looking contraption. So here's the thing, right? I actually had these as well. And these meaning either the Apple EarPods, and of course I think everybody has seen one of these, either yourself or somebody who's wearing it. Obviously you put them in, they connect, they do some pretty cool things. You can put it on different modes, you can go ahead and turn off the volume, you do some really neat things here. And by the way, Android does, to be fair, make their own Android version of it. I believe Samsung makes one. There's different makers.
Samsung has literally gotten to the point where they're just knocking off the Apple AirPods, and that's all they're doing.
Yeah, 100%. They need to get into the game, right? But one of the things for me is that the in-ear experience wasn't always working for me. I didn't like them in all the time, and people were talking to me, and I know you could put it on translucent or transparent mode, but a lot of times I was just literally pulling them out. Actually, it happened to me. Somebody came to the house to do some repairs, and I'm yelling his name, and just keeps on walking along, and then finally he's kind of he's looking at it. Also, it'd be illegal to drive with two things in your ear that could potentially block out a fire engine or a police officer or something like that. So
the cop that's trying to pull you over.
Exactly, and you're like, I don't hear anything. So that's why I got these right here. And these, they are called bone, I still can't say
Bone conduction.
Bone conduction is what it is, right? So I believe that word actually came from deaf people when they were using it so they can hear again. And if you ever get a chance to watch those videos of the first time of hearing something when they're like 30 years of age, it's kind of cool, right?
It's incredible.
Yeah, it really is. So these bad boys, what they do is they go over your ear. So instead of an in-ear experience, it's an over your ear. So notice there's nothing in my ear, so I can hear you perfectly fine if you're talking with me. Actually, most people don't even know it, right? I mean, some people will look at it and they're like, are you on the phone or something like that?
Just looks like you have chunky sideburns.
Yeah, pretty much so. And with me, I need all the hair that I can get. So this one, they're over ear, nothing is inside, but I have to tell you, it literally, as they explain it, it vibrates off of the jawbone. I know it sounds kind of disgusting, and if you turn it up too loud, it will actually literally, you can feel it, and that is a little bit weird.
It's going to shake your fillings out of your teeth.
It kind of shakes it a little bit, but for the most part, it works perfectly fine. I can listen to my music. I can, click on my phone calls, and it is super cool. Just the only difference is it's not in ear. So.
Yeah, I definitely love the technology. I've never used those things before, but I've heard a lot of good things about them. But talking about these AirPod Pros for a second, this is the second generation AirPod Pro. I think Apple came out with these late 2023, early 2024, something like that. These things are super cool because they're little earbuds. They slide into your ears. If you have Apple devices, these are phenomenal to use along with all them because you can just hook them up to your Apple account and they're automatically attached to all your devices and you just bounce around to whichever device you want. And
I'm going to mention one other thing, a new piece of technology that came out literally a month ago as we're filming this. So this is going to be early 2025. I want to let you know that the EarPod 2s that you're talking about, they now have been approved by the FCC, I believe, is the government entity that allows you to actually wear them as
Hearing aids?
As hearing aids. I can't hear or talk today. So it's hearing aids as well. So basically what's happening is that instead of getting the $1,500 ones, you can now get the, whatever these are, what?
About 270, I believe is what these go for.
Something like that. So, and we haven't tried them out yet. Although what it's supposed to do, once again, being approved by government entities, put them in, and then it will be in lieu of a hearing aid. Now, the only downfall that I can think of right now is that if I'm wearing them and I'm talking with somebody, I think people might ask you like, hey, that's a little bit rude, Jeff and Jake, to be listening to music and stuff as you're talking to me. You might have to explain to people that, no, I'm not listening to music. It just helps me hear you better. That's the only downfall that I can think of right now.
It's actually interesting because I've talked with people with these AirPods in my ear, and nobody's ever said anything about
They don't say anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
The interesting thing about these is, yes, while they are, shall we say, soundproof, they have noise canceling and stuff built in. You wear these things on an airplane, it's incredible how much noise these things will cancel out. But they have a whole array of microphones on them, and they've got this whole thing called transparency mode, to where if you're using them and you start talking, it recognizes your voice, picks it up, and it brings the volume of whatever you're listening to way down. And if you keep on talking, it pauses it entirely until it detects that you're not talking to anybody anymore. So there's a lot of really cool technology wrapped up in these things.
I didn't know that. That's super cool.
Yeah. However, I will say it can be annoying at times, though. There's one specific example I'll give to you. You ever have that song that comes on that you just really want to sing along with? You know, you're in the mood for singing. You want to sing along
got
with it. This thing is so annoying because it picks up your voice, thinks that you're trying to talk to somebody while you're trying to sing along with it.
That's funny.
No, we got to bring the volume down. We're going to stop the song entirely because Jake's talking. So while it is cool technology, there is definitely still a little bit of work left to do to improve these.
I think this is great because then it gives everybody the real life showing how tone deaf most people are. Because you're singing out loud and you're like, where'd the music go? And you're like, ah! So, yeah, I think that's
you sound like a cat with infernal caterwauling, you know?
Pretty much
I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying.
I do. By the way, it's okay. I do.
Okay, so I'd say one other type of headphones I want to make you guys aware of that's still a relatively new piece of technology while we're on this whole runabout with headphones. Ray-Ban, along with a couple other companies, have these brand new types of glasses where the arm is just, it's a little bit thicker, it's got speakers and stuff in it. I've tried these things out. The sound quality, it's a little bit shallow, there's not a whole lot of sparkly high ends. It's good with bass, but not perfect. It plays sound, points to speakers kind of like the bone conduction headphones do. It's got speakers that point straight into your ears. Your ears can hear the sound, and you can hear what people are doing around you. But the sound you can hear people around you. They can't hear anything coming out of your glasses. The sound quality is okay, but gosh, they're so expensive. And the other downside to it is, last time I checked, they only have sunglasses versions available of that. So what are you going to do? You can't wear them inside because if you're trying to use the computer or something like that, you can only use them outside, like if you're out for a run or playing some sports or something. So there's still a very limited market for those things. Plus, not to mention the price tag. I think you can get like 2 sets of these AirPod Pros for the same price tag as those Ray-Ban glasses. But anyways, that's what I have to say about that.
I think that they're making more wearables to be an all-in-one. So once again, let's take the Meta really quick, and this is by, Meta, owner of Facebook and Instagram and other things like that. And what they did is, before it used to be separate, right? I had a version of this, actually it was a Google wearables as well, and I had to have a separate headset, and I had a Bluetooth, and it was just a pain, and they made it all in one. So these right here, when you play games or listen to music or watch Netflix or Max or whatever other streaming platform you're doing, they actually have the built-in speakers, and actually they're not bad quality. You can hear, but other people can hear as well. So I do want to let you know that, but it is actually really nice to have everything built in. You just simply put them on, and of course you can go ahead and use these along with it, but they also have the natural hand feature where you can use gestures like the pinching of the fingers to pick up things. You can actually go ahead and grasp things. So they've done, I think, a wonderful job, whether that be the Meta 3, or even the Apple version of it, which is a lot more expensive. And I don't know if you knew this. You know that actually they're not producing those anymore?
The Vision Pros?
Yeah.
I had heard something about it. The sales on those things were not too phenomenal.
Knowing how expensive they were.
At $2,500 a piece compared to what you can buy the Meta for.
Right.
I think the thing that cracks me up most about this, and then we'll move on to the drone and stuff
Absolutely.
here. You know, I think your mom probably told you the exact same thing that my mom told me growing up. Don't sit too close to the TV. Well, now we've brought the TV just about as close as it can possibly get
any
to
closer
your
than
face.
this.
Yes, it's literally in your face right here, and there's like nothing you can do to avoid it. But anyways, Jeff, tell me a little bit about this big robotic looking, nightmare looking thing sitting here on the table.
It is a little bit scary, I'm not going to lie. You kind of look at it and you're like, oh my gosh, they're coming to attack me. This is the DJI, although there are other companies who do produce these things. It is a drone. This is one of the larger models. Of course, they make them much larger, the professional models. Heck, they're having human beings sit in these things now, and to beat traffic. I don't know when it's going to come out.
They're live now. They're live in San Francisco and New York.
Are they using them?
Yeah, it's like $250 for a 10-minute ride, but yeah, they're using them now.
But that's for a professional. Like, you can't drive them yourself, right? You can't pilot it yourself.
No, you do pilot it yourself. You have to go through a course to learn how to fly it. I was just watching a video about it, just a few weeks ago,
That
actually.
is so cool.
Yeah, technology is coming a long way.
Okay, well, I like that. So actually, if that's the case, then I really want to see this version times, I don't know, what, 50, 20 times this, and then to go ahead and fly yourself in it, which is super cool. Okay, so back to it. What does this actually do? So you can see it's a freeform camera. It goes multi-directional, up, down, sideways, all that other good stuff. And basically, many pieces of technology built into this. For example, it will not allow you to crash into buildings or homes or do stupid things that some stupid people do. It does have geo-tracking on it, meaning there are geo-fences around places you should not be flying your drone. For example, above baseball fields or football fields or around government buildings and
military
things like that.
bases.
Military bases, things you should not be doing. So it won't even allow you to go ahead. I think the older ones did allow you to accidentally crash. These ones will not.
Yeah.
So the technology is pretty cool.
Oh, there's so many cameras and sensors on this thing.
Right.
Like, it knows when something's coming up.
Yeah. There's cameras everywhere. It knows exactly what's going on.
Not to mention the camera that's using for recording pictures and videos and things like that.
100%, which
So-
is 4K as well.
So tell me, Jeff, how is this thing useful for the world of real estate? Like, what in the world would I want to use aerial photos and videos for?
Yeah. So we talked on our last video how videos help sell a house. It's been proven. They've done multiple surveys on it. It's a no-brainer. I have to tell you, drones. Now think about this, right? If we get a person's view of the house and inside, that is great. But who knows what's going on behind the house, and who knows what's going on around the house, and so forth and so on. Is there a train track right behind where you took that last photo? Well, this one right here, it shows that bird's eye view and it shows the whole thing. So you can go ahead and see what is surrounding it. You can see what is going on with the home, so there's no tricks, there's no you're trying to hide anything. And I have to tell you, I utilize these, and especially on my homes that sit on a bigger lot, they can see what's going on, they can see the swimming pool. There's a lot of things that you can do with the drone for real estate. I do want to remind you that if you're doing this to take your own drone photos or videos, that you do need a special license, so just be aware of that.
The FAA Part 107 certification is required to do anything commercial with these drones.
And if you're not doing a commercial, you're just doing it for fun, I do want to let you know, you still do have to register it with the government.
Yes.
So, and by the way, it is free, or it was very little money.
I think it's like $5.
Yeah,
$5 a year to
$5.
register your
I
drone.
still have mine, and notice that it is, well, you can't see that far, but it is still in date. It has my phone number in case it does get lost and somebody does find it and wants to return it to me. It has a serial number on it. So I just want to let you know, you do need this regardless. But then if you are using this to, once again, real estate or other means that are going to be making money, you do need that FAA version of it. So
FAA Part 107 certification, again, is what that is.
Correct.
Now, here's where I would say the drones are most useful in real estate. And I talk about this a lot when I'm going over MLS Rule 8.23, which should be a pretty much nationwide thing as of this point.
Correct.
The two biggest uses for a drone in real estate is, number one, parcels of land. If you're putting somebody's parcel of land up for sale in the MLS, sure, you can get ground level photos of the parcel. That's fine. But, you can only look at so many different trees or get so much of a lay of the land looking at something from the ground. Whereas getting a top-down photo really helps you to get an idea for what's going on with that parcel. Or alternatively, the other major thing that you have to do to get people's houses sold these days, or even commercial properties, is you have to have a good idea of what the surrounding area looks like. So you can use these drones, like send them up, like where we're at right now in Fountain Hills, if you want to take a picture of the surrounding area to show where the mountains are at, where the local parks are, you can totally send the drone up to do that as well. The only thing you have to be aware of is, again, as you work your way closer to these restricted areas, especially if you're flying around in airspace surrounding an airport, you have to watch very, very closely for how high up you can fly.
Correct.
More so specifically with these DJI drones, because if you're using like one of the cheap Chinese drones or something like that, for example, those things will usually let you fly wherever you want to because there's very little technology in it. Although ironically, I just said that, and DJI is a Chinese company.
I was just going to say that. But to be fair, they do have different versions of the drones from China, right? So
yes.
DJI, I know as you said that, I'm like, wait, actually they are made in China. But of course, there's going to be different versions. You get the super cheap version, and then you get the much nicer version, which is why it will set you back a little bit. So I want to remind you,
these things are super, super expensive. I actually have a rundown. Looking at my slides for the virtual tours class, actually, there's 3 primary versions of the DJI Mavics that you'd probably be looking at for real estate stuff. And to be fair, this one that we have sitting here in front of us is probably significantly more high-tech than any of you are going to be putting to use anytime in the future. You can get something simple like the Mavic Mini 2, the SE version of it, for $339. Go for a Mavic Mini 4, which is a little bit smaller than this. That one will run you $759. Or if you want to go for the super professional version, like you're using it to make a boatload of money, you can get that one for a calm, cool $3,233.40.
Let's go buy it today.
Yes, you got to tack on that extra 40 cents. So, I mean, there's obviously a lot of benefits of using drones in real estate. But I think the one last thing that I'll mention that I love to use drones for, when it comes to houses, what's one of the big ticket items that everybody always wants to know about when it comes to the house? What in the world is the quality of the roof what's the quality of the AC unit, and what's the quality of the solar panels if those things exist on the home. And getting good pictures of the roof, AC units, and whatever else you can grab pictures of with a drone, they will allow you to get close-ups of those things in any areas where defects might exist.
I want to mention one last thing to you. So new builders will not allow your inspector on the roof because they might break it, they might penetrate it, whatever. So what they're doing, and this just happened to me selling a new build, is you can get your own inspector, but they're using drones to go up there to look at the roofs, to make sure that there are no cracks in the tile. They're looking at the soffits and stuff like that. So I do want to let you know, inspectors are using drones for that reason alone.
I did actually, back in 2021, have a buyer that was looking at a property that was not in the greatest of conditions, looking at buying it to renovate it and live in it. However, it's one of those situations where there was a pretty heavy, intense bidding war going on. You know, it was back during the craziness of that seller's market. So I had my real estate photographer, also my best friend, come out with his drone, and we sent it up just to take a quick look at the roof and see if there's anything concerning on it. So that's another benefit to having a drone on hand. Any final thoughts, opinions, or comments on the drone and any of the tech we've mentioned here today?
I don't know if the drone is for everybody.
No, gosh, no.
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 I do want to say that most companies, once again, you can pay them extra. And especially if you're getting these kind of all-in-one companies, they're great photographers. I have nothing bad to say about them. I use them myself, but they'll go ahead and they'll do things like superimposing photos, also known as virtual staging. Maybe we'll do that in a different episode here, but they'll do these add-ons, and one of them is definitely using the drone to go ahead and get these pictures. And let me tell you, some clients and the public, they absolutely love it when they're looking at it on not only MLS, which would be for us, but also the different websites that we go ahead and disseminate the information out to.
It does help to spruce up the house when you have the extra pieces
100%.
of marketing that nobody else wants to spend the money on to get. So with that being said, guys, we're going to go on ahead and leave you here for this episode of the Tech 4 podcast. And again, we'd like to say thank you for joining us, and we will see you in another episode very, very soon.
Thank you.